Welcome to VitaFriends Voices, a podcast brought to you by Vitaflo, where we will share your stories. And each episode will bring you engaging interviews with inspiring individuals who are either living with a protein disease or are experts at the forefront of their field. The focus of today's episode is Phenylketonuria, or PKU for short. And our guests today are 16-year-old Daragh and his mother, Wendy, who will be discussing with us their journey as a family. So, Kit, as our resident specialist dietitian, could you quickly explain to the audience what PKU is?
Of course I can, Graham. So PKU is a rare genetic disorder that causes an amino acid called phenylalanine, or Phe for short, to build up in the body. So people with PKU, they need to follow a special diet that significantly restricts the intake of protein, which is found in many foods and in many beverages. So the diet typically includes Phe-free or low Phe protein substitutes, or foods that are free from or low in Phe. So if PKU is well managed, then people like our guest here today can live normal, healthy lives. And today on the podcast, we've got Daragh and his mother, Wendy. So Daragh and Wendy are here today to talk about them as a family unit and how they are navigating their lives with Daragh's PKU together. So welcome to the VitaFriends Voices podcast, Wendy and Daragh. How are you?
All good. Thanks very much. Glad to be here. Delighted to be here.
Yep. Thank you.
It's great to have you.
Thank you.
So just before we begin, maybe each one of you just introduce yourselves, just so people know who they're listening to.
Okay. I'm Daragh. I'm 16 years old. I was diagnosed with PKU when I was 3 days old. I'm on 8 exchanges of protein per day, and I am an ambassador for Vitaflo.
And I'm his mummy. So I'm Wendy, I'm Daragh's mum, and I have another son, Fionn, and we all just live happily ever after, really, together. But yeah.
So, Wendy, you mentioned you have another son, Fionn, and let's just take it back to when Daragh was born. And how did it feel different second time around when Daragh was diagnosed with PKU?
So we'll go back to when he was born. I should have known, Daragh was going to be a messer anyway. So we'll go back to, the labour stages. Well, I won't really go into too much detail.
Okay.
But Daragh decided he wanted to be 14 days late.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And then decided, well, I'm coming out in an hour. So Daragh arrived, happy days. And we went home, the next day, and everything's great. He was a very quiet baby, didn't cry much, an absolute delight, slept a lot. But apparently that was down to the PKU.
Okay.
But you get a phone call. So it was a doctor from Temple Street rang me and, saying that Daragh had PKU and we were to go in the next day and, the whole usual, don't Google it. It's, not going to be the real situation. And I said, okay. So the next morning we packed up and went into Temple Street, met some lovely doctors and nurses. And it's a lovely experience. When you go into Temple Street, they have a separate unit, a metabolic unit, St. Ultan's. And you go in there and you meet firstly the nurse and you're talking to them and you have absolutely no idea what PKU is. When you get the heel prick, you don't know what the heel prick is for. Everyone gets the heel prick. It means nothing. You hear nothing. Happy days. And then when you get, well, it's PKU, no idea. It's never heard of it even in the family. And we have a huge family and nobody had heard of it. So we go in, you meet the nurse, absolutely lovely. And then you meet the doctor and they explain it, you're going to be staying here for a week. I don't know why I'm staying here for a week. How sick is he, And as the days go on, you get brought up to the ward, you meet the teams. And again, another only memories. You're in this lovely room and, there's 4 babies in the room and Daragh is just compared to other, no comparison with anyone else, but he's sitting there and he's great. Well, he's not there, he's lying there. And this doctor comes up and you have the whole team, it's PKU, it's Daragh, and they're doing all these tests on him. The way they picked him up and they fall. Well, they'd done so many on him, Daragh refused to actually fall back. Actually, so yeah, total messer. But anyway, go through the whole experience and they're testing all the time, what's his levels. I didn't even know what they meant, but his level is coming down. Oh, that's great. Well, what is it, But I think he was 1,200 or something when, he was a baby, and then it was coming down, it was 800, and then it goes down and, eventually to a good level. The bottles are there, you're learning that you have to give him a normal formula and this, PKU substitute formula. And you're basically there learning how to do your bloods, which like I'm grand at that, the old heel, here you go, and the blood is done. And eventually then after 5 days, you go home. And nothing is really different in that. You're talking to everyone in the hospital and they tell you all about how it's different. There's this diet, it's a special diet, you're going to have to do this, you can't have protein. And if you can imagine, like, you're literally only after giving birth to this beautiful boy, and now all of a sudden, oh, right. But to me, you're like, he's still a baby, he's still the baby, and you still have to do these things. So, and I have mentioned before where, for 2 years of Darragh's life, I actually didn't feel that he was mine now. And everyone's so supportive. But in me, I was just going through a routine. Like for the first couple of weeks and more, you had to do the blood tests, twice a week, and you're ringing in for, what do I do now? And then it goes to once a week, and eventually, keeps going, and you move from the heel to the toe, and then all of a sudden you're up on the thumb or onto the fingers, which was huge. Like you're gone from, God, it's so hard because you're squeezing out and into these little vials, into these little tubes, to all of a sudden you're on a card, and you actually feel, oh, like this is great, because it's progressing. But then everything progresses as normal, like a baby. Darragh, after 4 months up to 6 months, you're the spoon feeds, but the spoon feeds aren't the normal. It's like sweet potato or something. But then you're doing that with, like, because of Fionn, I would have known this is what you have to do, and everything it's not that it is different. It's different food. It's a different way of life, but it's still your family. But like, there's so much support out there, and we go into Temple Street, like every so often. I can't remember how many times in the first year or second year, but they talk to you and, how are you getting on? And, everything's grand, but there's it was a psychologist or something as well. And you're like, oh my God, what you going to think of me? But I would have thought that anyway. It was nothing to do with Darragh. But there is all that support. Everything's great. The nurses and everything, they become your family. They're learning you what to do. And then there is events then we started to go to, and Darragh would have a memory probably from later on, but we were going to events from when he was quite young, and we'd go to like weekends away. And it is funny that it's only now we really know people. But when we went to those events, we didn't really mix with people. I think people actually stayed on their own. And it was like, you didn't realise you are the community. Whereas now that's all changing now. So it's amazing how PKU 10 years ago to now has changed. And I think the world has changed. Everything is so acceptable. Everybody has their own ways, and it's becoming more acceptable to be different. So, and I think that's how we are now, like we did have a different diet, and I'm not diminishing this at all, with PKU, because there are times where it's going to be a struggle, it's going to be a challenge. Is he eating enough? Am I giving him enough food? Can I bake the bread? Can he eat that bread? Is my food edible? But then that would be true for Fionn as well, because I'm no good at cooking at all.
And how did you, that's an interesting thing you say there. So how did you balance that with Fionn and Darragh in terms of, it's like, did you want the family to be, in quotes, normal? And did it feel like that?
I've never been a normal person.
Okay.
And you can kind of see that. We wanted it to be a family. The three of us, and Fionn has grown up with this now as well. PKU didn't make much of a difference to our family. The food, absolutely, Darragh had different food to us, in that we would all have the same vegetables and stuff like that, but there'd be like a burger, a different burger or something like that. So the foods were quite similar. If we're having pasta, there was a different pasta, but it never felt any different, did it? Did you feel any different?
No,
You can be honest.
Well, obviously I did, because it's different food, different diet. I obviously was eating different from everyone else, you and Fionn as well. So I obviously felt a bit different, but I was always included as well. I always had something similar. I never felt like completely left out.
Yeah. We didn't put you out in the cold or anything. No, and said you have to eat out there and we're here.
No.
No, but it was a different type. But I think because it was just the three of us as well, that like, and I was working too. So I mean, Daragh went through creches and then with schools and everything, and you know, there was all like there would be the play dates, you know, like where birthday parties Daragh would be invited. So initially you were given the food to bring, you know, and he'd take that with him. And I think because, again, Dara's friends, like, you know, would have different complaints as well as such, that everyone, it was just accepted, wasn't it? And, you know, we've a really good community where we live as well. And we're very close because of GAA. Everyone's in the GAA or everyone's in football, that everyone would know us. Like, although there was a time up at the GAA, you have a summer party. It was great, and you know there's nuggets and there's chips and everything. So Daragh went over and was getting his chips, and you know someone kept trying to give him chicken nuggets, and he's like, "I'm not allowed them." Your ma won't mind. Well, I kind of will. But he just walked away. But you know, and it wasn't anyone being bad. It was just, you know, don't be silly, you know, kind of. But we kind of, you know, everyone understands. We don't hide the PKU. Sure, we don't.
No.
Like. Anything we do, like, yeah, why is he doing that? It's, well, he has PKU. He's only allowed a small amount of protein. Even when, like, he'd come into where I work, we have, like, Santi days and all of that kind of stuff. And, you know, we'd make sure that you're there. Like, but then, I hope you don't mind me saying this,
No,
Daragh doesn't like stickers either. So when he'd come in even for the job, everyone would get a sticker with their name on it. Daragh would get, like, a lanyard and a piece of plastic with his name on it, you know. So, like, we all have different things going on as well, but PKU, it's not that it really affected our lives. We just got on with it, didn't we?
Can you just explain to us, for people who don't know, GAA?
So the GAA in Ireland is such a big thing. It's hurling and football.
Okay.
And for boys, and then there's the camogie with the girls as well, and the football and everything. So it's a big sports club, basically. So Daragh plays hurling and plays football. He did up to last year anyway, but he had to take a year out because he was doing exams and just wanted to change, really, didn't you? And did other things instead. But it's the biggest community, and in most, you know, Irish villages, there's the big GAA club. You know, you kind of explain where everything is from the GAA club because everyone knows it. But like, we would spend all of our time up there because it's like 3 or 4 times a week. Then there's matches and there's everything. But even at that, you know, like, everyone who was on his team knew about his PKU, all the coaches, all around, didn't it? Like, it's never been anything that's been hidden. It really is, or was, very acceptable. Wasn't it? Like, we've never treated it as a barrier. And it is hard. Again, it's, you know, it's different. It is different. But I think when you look at it from then, like, growing up, I mean, if I go back to when he was a baby, because your nerves are gone, like, it's really, oh my God, and hope he's okay. And even up to now, when you're getting the level back, you still feel, oh God, is it going to be okay? Even though you know it is, but there's always that fear. Or if Daragh was ill, the level would go up. And you'd be like, oh, how did that happen? Or there might be times when it just went up anyway and you didn't know why, but you're trying to think about it. But it's not been a barrier for us, even with the sport and the community. Like, so, I mean, the question was, what's it like at home? You know, it's really not been anything different, other than, you know, and the after eights and stuff like that, which are very low in protein, and someone likes chocolate, you know, and they're not just ours and he has to share. But yeah.
So it sounds like motherhood was different the second time around, having a baby with PKU, but also there was many similarities as well at the same time. And if anything, to me, it sounds like you perhaps had almost more support the second time around because of the diagnosis.
Yeah, I'd say so. Well, you always had, like, the team at Temple Street they were, you're onto them all the time. So they became part of your life. But then I've a really big family. So again, working full time. And then during the summer times, which happened because like the two boys anyway would go off to their aunties, they stay there for a week or whatever and get just at the end of the week. But it made it so normal because everybody was part of the life, everybody knew this is what Daragh has to get, right down to my nieces and nephews. I mean, they're a little bit older than Daragh, but they'd have him for a week and it just became normal, it's just, oh, well, it wasn't a problem, this is what Daragh has to take, this is everything. But it was different because with Fionn, when it was just Fionn, that's all you did things differently. You would have had more time together as well. But then when two come along, it is different. And then there's a lot more worry. Like when you go to Daragh was in the creche and stuff like that, and they were even really supportive. There's actually a nurse in the creche knew about it, and we've been so lucky that anywhere we've turned, like if the support is there completely. But yeah.
There's always a lot of support. I've always felt very supported throughout my life having PKU. Like I've never been stuck for anything, even like at my aunties and all. There was always, they're always there to help. They're always checking up on me.
So it's actually a really good point. How do all of these people know about your PKU? How do they know what to do? Who told them? Who taught them, I guess?
Well, I guess like so my mom like telling them how to like cope with it, I guess, like how to make food, how to make the substitute when I was younger and all that. And I guess she told them as well.
Mm-hmm.
We'd many lists. There was a list, there was timetables, there was everything, but we all grew together with it because it was something new, that it just happens. And again, family, well, again, I have a big family, but everybody supported Daragh. Even like his granddad would have been a big influence even in it, isn't he? Like,
yeah, they're all very caring, like towards me.
Yeah,
made me feel very like comfortable with the fact that I have PKU.
Yeah, like at family gatherings or anything, no matter where we'd go, it'd be right. There's the menu. Yeah, and this is what Daragh can have. Like they could even tell you what Daragh could have before we'd even look at it. Like we've made sure there's this or there's that, and hasn't it been?
Yeah.
Like I know it all sounds so easy and it's been so smooth and there's been no tears, obviously, but there has been. I mean, there are times, and especially if he was sick and the levels went up, like going from the baby and then the two. At two, Daragh only then really, he went from having like liquid foods, like a bottle, to actually paste as such. Daragh didn't like liquid and didn't like textures and stuff like that. So at 2 years of age, we were in Temple Street and Daragh's levels were really high because he'd refused the bottle, and that was the end of it. And now we were progressing and we got on to, there's different protein substitutes there. And there was one that was a saviour because it was, now we call it pink stuff. No copyright here. We had it first. It was our pink stuff. In that we had like the little container. It was a PKU, what was it called? Gel. It was just PKU gel at the time. And the only flavour he liked was raspberry at this stage. So we'd shake it up into a little paste. So it was like a mousse. And that was our saving grace because that was the only thing he would take. Nothing else, refused it. You'd nearly be chasing him around the table. And I think anyone that knows with PKU and knows the struggles you have will actually give him the PKU substitute at the start because it's quite a strong flavour, isn't it?
Yeah, it
if you can
quite strong and thick and like sour in a way.
So if you can imagine like a young person, trying this for the first time, it does take time, and it's actually just to, be persistent, but also, try different ways. It was nearly like, have this and pretend that's what you were given, and you'd be given the substitute instead until you got used to it. But that had its own problems then. But
I think now there's a lot more variety of like substitutes though. Like there's definitely a lot more ones that I like my mom said, I didn't like the liquids. I never did, but I got into Sphere just recently and I love it. Like I really like it's definitely like it's always a handy option to have. Like it's always just it's just there if like I'm not eating the paste, or if I'm bringing it somewhere, I can always just like sip on it, and so it's just easy and nice to have. There's definitely a lot more variety nowadays.
And you can make it up the way that you want it, can't you?
Yeah, it's all like I can make it into like a little milkshake, even if I really wanted to. But yeah, it's very like, I think it's a lot easier now. Like I said.
So you talked about all your family members, and obviously a large family. How do you think Fionn has felt included in all of the journey you've been in?
Well, we're all very close. Like, we really are. And even Fionn dropped us to the airport yesterday morning, and he was real, yeah, I'd love to go. I really can't. We're very close, aren't we? Like, all the way through. Like, Fionn was 3.5 when Daragh came home, and that was his little brother, you know,
right. Yeah.
and has always been his little brother all the way through, isn't it? Like, they are so close. You know, I'm the outsider sometimes, but
is that deliberate? That mum's an outsider at times, Daragh?
No. They have their little conversations, and I don't know that they're having them.
All right.
It's just brother to brother.
Yeah,
Like any teenagers would do.
yeah. And sometimes they forget and they call me bro. Yeah, no, I'm mammy or mam or anything of that, you know, or any variation of mammy will do me, but bro is kind of like taking it a little bit far. But no, because we've always done everything together, you know, like even all our holidays. I think there, even for going into Temple Street and stuff, Fionn would have come a couple of times as well with us, so he knew how and what was going on. They were in the same creche together, like, and even the creche was amazing because Fionn would go down and be in Dara's class as such for a little time. Like, they were so good. And then in school, like, they're just, it's a normal relationship, you know. It didn't actually change anything. They're very close. But yeah,
the PKU hasn't like made any difference to it.
No.
We're still like still good brothers. Like,
Still fight at times.
not
No,
really.
they
Like, we don't really fight.
Wow.
Yeah,
we do.
I guess like my question is, during those early years, did Fionn ever want to try some of your protein substitutes perhaps? Was he ever curious, I guess? Because he wouldn't be having those, so.
I think he was. I can't remember really, but I'm sure he did. I'm sure he let him try it as well, did he? I can't remember.
No, he never really did. Like, it was always that's Dara's, you know, and just respected it because it's what he can have. And it was always, Daragh was so restricted in what he could have that nobody would take from it, you know, because you were taken from Dara's, you know, all he can. But no, it didn't. No, it didn't. Like, they did everything together. All the experiences that we've had together were experiences that we all enjoyed together, you know, and PKU was part of it, you know, it's part of the family, you know, it's not. Like, and again, there were hard times, you know, like, again, and changing over from the gels and stuff, or being in Wales, you know, after having a moment on a ferry, and then all the stuff in Ireland, the fizzy drinks, you know, aspartame free. There's none. No. You go over there, you go to Wales, and you're sitting in a lovely mobile home, and you get the Fanta that you've always had in Ireland, you know, and everyone, oh, this is lovely, yeah, grand. And Daragh said, you know, did you check the bottle? And now he was quite young at this stage. Oh, God, no, sure, it's grand. And we checked the bottle, and yes, it's in it. And I had poisoned Daragh. I had literally poisoned Daragh. His words.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I have a faint memory of it.
So it was like panic stations. Ring Temple Street. You have to ring Temple Street. Mammy, what's going to happen, Daragh? He's going to be grand. It's grand. It'll be fine. Well, you better ring. I better ring Temple Street. So you ring Temple Street. How much did he have? Well, he only had a little sup. It was grand. He'd be grand, Wendy. Okay, thanks very much, and the whole lot. Now, Daragh, I haven't poisoned you, and it's okay. And you know, but there were times like that. You know, like little moments, or like Fionn would have seen a lot of it. You know, or like with the bloods as we were growing up, like Fionn, again, very young when I had to take bloods with Daragh, but Fionn had lie beside Daragh on a lot of it when he was a baby. And, you know, the suitor go in and, you know, just, you know, comforting him
Just
while
to
I'm
be
there, like squeezing the heel, hoping for the best. But like he just, because again, he was so young, this has become part of it, you know, and like even anything we think about, it's always taken into account because it's part of us, isn't it? Like part of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thinking about that in terms of traveling and in terms of holidays, how did you sort of bring in variations to the food at that time? Because obviously you were cooking for the three of you. Any experiments in the kitchen you'd like to share with us?
I can't cook.
Okay, so Wendy can't cook.
But I do my
Daragh, so was it
best.
over to you and Fionn then?
But no, like when we'd go on holidays, it was always self-catering. You
Right,
know,
okay.
No matter where we go, we try and choose a self-catering option. Just then we bring all the food, and we did have a couple of holidays in Wales, but the majority of our holidays were home. So it was, and that's why there's such a love of Ireland anyway. But we've been everywhere, haven't we? No matter where we go,
Yeah,
it's been Ireland.
Yeah, but we always make sure that we have food to make. Like there's always, like we always bring bread, cheese, whatever it is, crackers. No, like there's always food.
Yeah. You wouldn't go hungry as such.
No.
And that because it was self-catering. We wouldn't have eaten out a lot anyway, you know. So yeah, it was a lot made at home, but it didn't actually make any difference because it was just part of us. That was our holidays, like, and you know, then we'd go and throw them in to a swimming pool. Oh yeah. Just a funny story because we were in a hotel, you know, for once, and Daragh could swim. He was about 3 years of age only. Daragh couldn't swim, but Daragh definitely could swim.
Okay.
So I took the armbands off and he couldn't. Anyway, but that was okay. He's not dead. He's still here. It didn't damage him at all. But no, like all our holidays were kind of like that. Like we'd really, really great holidays. I mean, Ireland is such an adaptable place for things like that. I mean, we always had loads and loads of fun, like, but
it never really stopped us. Like the PKU never got in our way, never like stopped us from actually having nice holidays.
Because we stayed at home in Ireland, I think. But if we'd have gone, I was always worried that if we went to Spain, that there wouldn't be enough food for him, or that if a suitcase got lost, you know, all of a sudden I don't have what Daragh needs. So we kind of never did until he got older. And well, a lot of that was my fears as well, that Daragh would run away on me or someone would take him. And they never did. But there was a lot of that too. So, bringing the amount of food we needed to bring, it's just an awful lot easier to throw it in the back of a car rather than actually bring it on a plane. And like then when we did start to go away, you know, the biggest thing about PKU is planning. You know, be prepared and all of that, like, and a list, and then the list is ticked. Like even just to come here, it's like, right, Daragh, have you got this? Have you got that? And we have a list, and then that's normal because you'd have to have your passports and everything else as well. So, but when it comes to PKU, make sure you have your letter from Temple Street and everything that you need, because like there was a funny incident as well. We were going to ESPKU, and Daragh, we've never been stopped, you know, as such. Daragh probably has when he's on his own, but we've never been stopped. And Lisa always is. And myself and Lisa had this conversation going through, and I was like, I'm not going to stand with you because I'm going to be stopped if I'm seen with you. You know, it was very funny. So we go through, and I am. And then everything is searched, but it was because it was the powder and all, but there was no problems with it. But that's the whole thing. Like, be prepared. Don't be afraid either. You know, like, if you are stopped, it's because you have the food and you do need the food, and there's never been a problem. Sure, there's not. There's never, ever been a problem. But I think it's just to be brave with it all, and it is so normal.
So you both talked there about Fionn not wanting to try any of your food. But Wendy, I do believe recently you've tried some of Daragh's food. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we were in Liverpool in the head office of Vitaflo, and there was a tasting session. I think it's called a sensory session or something like that. Anyway, it's not that I haven't tried Daragh's. Obviously, you know, there's a little taste here and there. It's not quite to my taste, but then Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we had these four things to drink and to taste and to say what you thought about it. So to me, they're quite, it's quite bitter or something. It's not a taste I know. So I'd go through and then you had to pick what your favourites were. And it was funny because what I would pick was my favourite, was not what Daragh would pick. And it actually showed the difference, like our different palates now, like, but it was so unusual because we actually then, we start talking about other things, that like even the breads and stuff like that, like there's a lot that, but then you would have been, it's not that you were afraid to take what he had, but that's his, it was there for him, and there was always that feeling that you don't want to take what's his because he had very little of what could be his, compared to ours. But the taste tests were, it was so good because you did actually, I tasted it, you knew. And to me, it's just so different. And the tastes are so strong, which I guess they need to be. But yeah, you actually really enjoyed that as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it was a good experience for us because normally she's all like, sometimes she does be telling me like, oh, just eat, just get, like, let's say we're in a rush. She's always like, eat it, just get it down. Like, it can't be that bad at all. All this. And then it was nice whenever, like, we got to that tasting session and she realized that, like, like, it's not, this wouldn't be my favorite and all this. But I think it was good because we got to see, like, I got to see what you, like, thought of all my, like, substitutes. And
there was an expression, I think. I was like, there was more of an understanding.
Yeah,
I think that's what's really come for us. Like, I am learning so much because, again, you're in, like, it's like you're just happening. Everything's just happening. Daragh is growing. Everything is good, and you just move along. It's life. You're not really thinking, and you tend not to really think because this is how it is. And it's only now when you stop and you breathe, and he's a bit older, and you can actually talk about it. That it's different, isn't it? Like, our relationship has. Well, it's always been there. We've loved Daragh, like he's my child. I have to, but
it's gotten a lot stronger though as we go on, like, this journey, mainly, like, together, because she's always helping me with everything. I think it's definitely, like, a big factor in our relationship.
Yeah, there's an understanding. Whereas before, I'm just doing it because this is how it has to be done,
Right.
and not really questioning why. Because I think there's that little bit of, do I want to start thinking about this? Whereas now it's like, it's not scary. Like, this is, look at him. Like, he's 16. He's his whole world ahead of him, and in 10 years' time, like, where are we going to be? But it's like, we're here now. He's 16. He's my Daragh, and he's doing really well. And like, this is just making us stronger because I do have a better understanding. And I think it was a bit of fear maybe years ago, and just, you're in a bubble, just keep going and it'll be grand. And it is grand. And now it's actually the understanding from both sides, isn't it? Like,
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So you're in a really positive place by the sounds of it,
Yeah.
which is brilliant. And you mentioned there that you went to the Liverpool Hit office, and also that you're on this journey together. So perhaps can you tell us a little bit about your role with the Irish Vitaflo ambassadors?
Well, from my point of view, I like doing this. Like, I like being a Vitaflo ambassador just because, again, I'm understanding myself a lot more, but I think I'm also helping, like, other people, like, more around my age. I'm helping them understand a bit more about, like, how other people are doing, like, in their PKU journey. And I just think that, like, well, I hope anyways, I'm helping them as well get better understanding of everything. And
I think for both of us, like, well, it's the traveling bit as well. We're really, really enjoying, like, it's an adventure. Like, we're terrible for adventures, aren't we? Like, everything's an adventure.
Yeah.
But this is a bigger one, and like, it really started, you went to the teen event. Like, well, firstly, we seen the advertisement for, would you like to be an ambassador? And we both sat there. It was like, go on, Daragh, what you do it. And he did. And then he went to the event and it was great. And then we got the phone call and we were just super excited. We knew what you were going to do, but we could never have imagined how much it would change our lives, because again, there is that understanding, and anything we can do, or if we can share our experience to make it easier for others, I mean, wouldn't that be amazing? Because I don't have PKU, but yeah, we're living with it. But I have the experiences from the other side that apparently is really normal. Everyone is going through this. But I think for both of us, it's just been really, it's been an adventure, that's going to continue for many years for us, because we are learning. Just it's knowledge, isn't it? And they say that once you have the knowledge, the power is there as well. So Daragh has the power now to be anything he wants, and to know that there is the support around him. There is changing foods, even going from the PKU gel to the plus and now the sphere. Everything, it's just growing and growing and making it better all the way. Yeah.
I think it's very good as well, the ambassador program, because for me, I think it's given me an opportunity as well to share my experiences and talk about my life and how I've coped with things and not struggled, but how I've gotten over some challenges maybe, or just stuff like that. And I've given it's given me the opportunity to see it from other people's point of view. At ESPKU, for example, I got to see some people talk about theirs. I got to learn about upcoming treatments, how people deal with sports and everything. And I think it's just given me an opportunity as well to see everything, and it's given me support as well. I know that there's a lovely community that's always going to be there for me and helps me along my way.
You mentioned there how much you've gained from being a Vitaflo ambassador this year, and obviously that is continuing. Are there people on that program who you've got closer to, and what about your fellow ambassadors?
Definitely. Well, Lisa, Andy, and Aoife, my fellow ambassadors, I've got to learn about their journey as well, especially Lisa and Andy, because whenever they were growing up, it obviously wasn't the same. There was less variety from supplements and food, and it just it's shown how far everything's come, how better it is now, and there's there's a lot more support, I think, nowadays, because I know they definitely struggled with their supplements and getting their blood results and going to the hospital and everything. And I think it's a lot better now, and I'm sure they're very glad about how everything's going now for us and themselves as well.
So from my point of view, there's Sarah as well, who's Dara's age. She's an ambassador too, and Orla, her mammy. So, and Aoife and all. Looking again, we're all so much part of a little family now. Where we all keep in touch, all the time. There's always a bit of a banter, going on, and there's recipes being shared. And how are you today? Kind of it's really, really good. But from me looking in, because again, you don't know many people who have PKU, and you certainly don't know adults. So you're looking at Lisa and Andy now, who are adult PKU people, and how much they've done with their lives, and everything is good. I can actually see now, well, wow, that's okay. You can become an adult and you're living a normal life, and and I think it's so new, PKU as such. I mean, it's been around forever, but the testing hasn't. So you don't know what's going to happen in the future. But then you're seeing a future, and there's so much hope, isn't there? But everyone is so supportive. Down in Vitaflo have been absolutely amazing. And the ambassadors we're just so close, in ESPKU in Porto. And there's a photo of us all, and we're all together. And it's just fun, isn't it? Because you're actually seeing PKU is okay, it's okay, and it's okay to feel certain ways, and even that, and I've been through that, and you're okay, so it's grand, and it's it's going to be grand. You just do this, do that, and certainly with the foods, again, because I'm not a great cook, there's Lisa will say, right, step by step, this is how you do it, Wendy. And she'll do a little video and it'll work, but Daragh will do it. Or I'll watch and it's grand. But they're so good. Everyone is so close. And even looking at Aoife now, you know, young Irla and stuff. And I remember being there, but it was a little bit different because I had got Fionn and I wasn't a new mammy as such to it. So, but I do remember, and I can see it, you know, and you're like, oh, you know what, Aoife, it's going to be okay. Because even going into Temple Street when he was young, you'd see the kids who were a little bit older than him, and yeah, it's going to be all right. But actually, you're with the ambassadors now, and there's so many different stages to it that, yeah, it's all going to be okay. And it's just really great, isn't it? Like, we're so honoured and like grateful for this experience, because it really has changed everything, hasn't it? For us?
It's definitely given us like hope, kind of, in my life as well. Like seeing Andy and Lisa and their older life, like living. Sure, they're living great lives. They seem happy, everything. So it seems like that PKU hasn't been a really big thing in their life, that they're still thriving as they are, like.
Yeah. Married with kids and the whole lot, like life goes on, you know? It's really good.
So a positive outlook and a positive future.
Yeah.
And talking of the future, this is a question we ask everybody at the end of our pod. Wendy, I'll come to you first, and then Daragh, you can have a little bit of time to think about this. Where do you see yourselves in 10 years' time?
So I'm going to be retired.
Okay, well,
I know I don't look old enough, but it's going to be grand.
Okay.
And I am, like, I know I do talk about this a lot, and anyone who knows me will know this is where I want to be. So it's probably on the side of a cliff in Galway, living in a caravan.
Okay.
Or something a little bit nicer. But it depends on how successful Daragh is.
Right, Daragh. Okay, that's where your mum wants to be in 10 years' time. So over to you. Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Well, I hope I see myself like bringing in good money and living a good life, traveling the world, not letting the PKU stop me mainly, and hopefully I can treat my mum and treat everyone who's helped me along the way to something.
That's wonderful to hear. Daragh, Wendy, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, if you like this episode, please like and subscribe to this podcast and share with anyone you think may benefit from tuning in. Thank you for joining our vibrant community of VitaFriends. And for more information, please visit our VitaFriends website. We look forward to the next episode.